Hey guys, thank you for joining us again for another exciting episode of Yomo. This is the Year of Magical Learning podcast. Today we are doing Reflection 243, and this is a book by. So I mean, what do you think?
He calls it one of his insertos. So I'll go with his definition, I guess. But this particular book is one called The Bed of Procrustes. I can't remember if I say that right.
Yeah,
But it's a philosophical and practical aphorisms by Nassim Nicholas Taleb, one of the authors that we both love, and probably one of the most influential voices on a lot of the stuff that we talk about. So this is one. He has a volume of 5-book series about randomness. Basically, this one's a little weird. It's just like a book of aphorisms. So it's a really short book of like just phrases and stuff like that he has distilled down and likes to share from wisdom that he's accrued over the years, and kind of like one-liners and stuff like that he really enjoys. So the title of this book, actually, you can give the description of why it's called The Bed of Procrustes if you want. Do you want to take a shot at it?
well, you can say it. I mean, it's just a story from Greek mythology. So I mean,
Yeah, it's a man who makes all of his visitors try to fit his bed size to perfection by stretching them to the sides of the bed or cutting off limbs or whatever. Make the world fit our view, essentially, versus just embracing the chaos that is around us. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my take on how that.
right. I mean, it's about the story behind the Bed of Procrustes is the guy's name basically a rich merchant, a rich businessman, and he has this hobby of his that he would go and invite travelers to his house, kind of invite him and give them hospitality, feed them dinners and whatnot. And then at the end of the day, he would kind of like invite them to stay overnight so that they can sleep. And but when that starts is when they bring out the bed. The bed is basically the same size as everybody else. So anyone who is shorter than the bed, he would stretch their limbs to fit the bed. And anyone who's taller than the bed, he would actually, cut the limbs so that it will fit. So
One size fits all
it's
approach.
it's
Yeah.
a aphorism for they are it's a one size fits all kind of concept, and that is reflective of what we see today. Is everything is cookie cutter, everybody has to fit into this mold, especially in the corporate world, and that's what people say. Hey, you have to conform to the societal mold that we have set for you.
Here's our values. You have to be these if you want to fit into this culture.
It's not that
Yeah.
it's not if you want to fit in, is you have to fit in because
You
now
have.
you have a choice.
We pay you to fit in. If you don't fit in, we will not pay you, and you will leave.
Before the advent of the freelancer, right? You can't even freelance because they won't even sell you insurance.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, no one will cover your health insurance. So people say, well, if you need health insurance, you have to work for a corporate because they only sell to corporations. You
Oh
can't.
man, my eyes. I cannot touch them because it's Luca and his pink eye. So I have something in it, and I can't fix it. I can't touch it. All right, go ahead. Sorry. I'm just
Well,
if I'm acting weird over here, I'm trying to like not I'm trying to get something out of my eye that's in my
a
eye.
podcast and a movie.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So anyway, this book is about aphorisms in general that Nassim Nicholas Taleb lives by, and they're just kind of funny. Sometimes they're really witty, sometimes they're deep, sometimes they're just comical, sometimes they're just takes on life, and whatever. This reflection is specifically the one that was most impactful for me that I still remember is what I learned on my own. I still remember. And I started this particular reflection off by saying, if you put a gun to my head, no joke, and you just said, hey, Chris, tell me something that you remember from 16 years of your formal education from kindergarten through my collegiate graduation and undergrad right now, like today. I did this exercise for myself. I was sitting there typing in the morning. And I was like, Chris, just tell me. Pretend like there was somebody putting a gun to my head right next to me, like, name it right now. What's the first thing that comes to mind? And I swear to God, I could not think of anything. I was racking my brain, like, what did I learn in like Spanish class? Like, what did I learn in algebra? I was like, I was like, I don't know, like, in a verb? I don't know, like, yeah, I honestly could not think of any particular concept or case study or anything that came to mind that I had to study in college or in high school, grade school, whatever. Nothing. It was like a pure blank. And I was like, okay, you got to come up with something. What's the first thing that comes to mind? And the first thing that finally popped into my head was one that I've shared with you before in the past, is 2 + 2 does not always equal 4 from Econ 368, which is my philosophy of economics class. It made me chuckle because I was like, this is no joke. Obviously, it was just an exercise that I was doing, but that was the first thing that stuck in my head because that was the only thing I can remember that I learned on my own. Like he just gave us a scenario and we had conversations together and we talked it out. We rationalized through it. We talked through it. Like we just had a conversation about one of these little scenarios that this guy would give us every single day, and he would ask a question and then we would go explore and we'd talk through it, like, and that was our class. And for me, it was the weirdest experience ever because like for 16 years of my academic life in academia, I guess, that is not how I learned. This class I took my senior year. It was my last semester in college, and it was called the Philosophy of Economics. It was the weirdest class that I ever took. As a matter of fact, I thought the professor was fucking batshit bonkers. I mean, like, I was like, this guy's crazy, man. Like, I was like, he's fucking nuts. He just gives you this packet at the beginning of the year, and he's like, here's some questions we're going to talk about at each class. You're based off of participation in the discussion. Your job is to go read some stuff the night before and just be prepared to talk about some stuff. And you're like, okay, what does that even mean? So like how is he judging us? I don't know. Nobody knew. And they were like, he's like, we're not gonna have any papers. We're not going to have any homework. We're not going to have anything. He's like, you'll have one paper you have to write for your final exam, and we'll do it in class. And everything else is based off of participation. And he's like, we're going to get weird in here. We're going to talk about some weird stuff. We're going to communicate with each other. And we're going to problem solve with each other. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, whatever, man. I just need to take this class to check the last box in my econ minor in my business school degree. I'm ready to get the hell out of school and move on with my life. This sounds like a total blow off. I don't have to do homework. I don't have to participate if I don't want to. I don't have to write papers. I'm good. I'll just coast through this one. So along the way, though, as I've told you, I got intrigued by it because he would pose an interesting question. We would have some interesting discussions in class. I would participate a little bit, but it was a little bit out of my comfort zone. Not that I didn't love to do this stuff outside of this class, but like in academia, I didn't know how to behave because it's not what I had been ingrained to learn for my entire life. Academia to me was, you show up to a class, the professor reads some shit off of a defined curriculum that you're supposed to like memorize and learn and do homework assignments throughout the course of the year, take a few tests, regurgitate out what you were told, get a grade, pass the class, move on to the next class. Like that was academia to me. Like that was learning to me for my entire childhood and development. Like you threw me into a class and I don't remember anything from that process. Like I mean, and I'm not even joking. Like it's I just told you, I pretended somebody was standing right next to me with a gun to my head. I'm doing it right now. I still can't remember anything. The first thing that popped to mind was the one class that I took that was the opposite of every class that I ever took in academia. And it was the one that's the most impactful. I wish I would have had more professors like this. And I wish I would have had more classes like this because it would have taught me how to think. It wasn't until long after that class that I found my own problems and I problem solved in my work life and things like that. But pure knowledge, learning for the sake of learning, like that was a foreign concept to me until this journey with Amelia and with you. It was never just learning for the sake of learning and exploring for the sake of exploring. So like this lesson was really impactful for me to remember what I learned on my own. You can put it, if you did the same exercise in the past 3 years that you and I have been doing this stuff, and you said, Chris, put a gun to your head, rattle off the things you've learned in the year magical learning time frame of your life at this point in time. I could probably spit off 50, instantaneously. And not only that, like, I mean, most of them will probably be titles you see, and there's reflection titles, like a beaver must dam, or focus on your values, or, whatever else little catchphrases we say, or, this is my memory palace, from, what I could write off a million of these if I wanted to. And that's why this journey has been so impactful overall, because it's just pure learning for the sake of learning about what I wanted to learn and what I'm exploring with you, and ideas that we're spinning up together and questions that we're asking together. And we're going to then go find research and come back and say, hey, this is what I think it is, right? And then we remember that way. So I thought this was one of the best aphorisms that he said during this one that it just stuck in my head, where I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like this is when you learn for yourself, you still remember eventually. But when somebody else is shoving knowledge down your throat and you just got to regurgitate it out, you don't remember shit. Like you don't remember anything about anything, honestly, at that point in time. So I will turn it over to you for comment, but I wanted to quickly say, here's some of my other favorite aphorisms from the book. I wrote like the other top 4 out of the top 5. One was to cure yourself with a newspaper, spend a year reading the week's previous newspaper. Have you ever done that before? You ever watched like a news, like, I record some news programs. I mean, every once in a while I turn it on right before bed, but it'll be last week's or something like that, and I haven't caught up on it in a while, and it's like, what are we talking about? Like, I'm like that stuff's like way past already. Like it's weird, Have you ever read a newspaper from a week ago and like tried to,
No, I wouldn't waste my time on it.
It is. I mean, it's a waste of time. It's the point, right? For the second one, this is probably my favorite one, besides the reflection one. Instead of looking for a cause of death when they expire, we should be looking for a cause of life while they're still around. And I don't know, man. That one was like, duh. Living every day, focus on your values. Like, why are you living today? Not, hey, he died of a heart attack or whatever. It's like, why did he live every day? You know, it's, I don't know. That one was a big explosion in my head. The next two were conscious ignorance can expand your world if you practice it. That's the, I don't know shit, you know, and really meaning it. I think personally, I do think that can really expand your world if you always try to keep that beginner's mind. It's hard, but try to do it. And then finally, what makes us fragile is that institutions cannot have the same virtues, such as honor, truthfulness, etc., as individuals. And this is what we talk about all the time. Like, Salesforce and their values is not a thing. Like, I mean, it is. Sure, you can organize a culture around a business, but a business isn't a, I mean, I don't know. It's always the people that make it up, and their values are what matter, you know. So anyway, we don't need to get into that one. We can talk about that stuff later. But I thought that was an interesting idea as well. So I'll turn it over to you. You start wherever you want to start. What I learned on my own, I still remember.
I mean, this book is not really, in my opinion, it's just a list of bumper stickers
Pretty
saying,
much, yeah.
to kind of put it bluntly. But it has a lot of values in terms of the lessons in the obvious of the saying. But I really like the fact that the reflection title, it's very, very profound because what I learned on my own, I still remember, to me, if you don't make anything your own, it's not yours. And if
Great.
it's not yours, how can you remember it? Right? Because to me, regardless if you say, hey, I really like that bumper sticker, or I really like what Christian True say, hey, be with my stamp. You can hear that 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times. You can get sick of hearing it, but you don't make it yours,
Right.
it would never stick. So to me, learning is like if you don't make it your own, then you did not learn it.
Great.
So it's just the fact that everything that you learn, you have to make it your own. You have to.
Experiment.
So
Gotta go in the real world.
I can say, well, hey, you may have some kind of a scenario or problem, right? And it is your problem, right? I can point to you to thousands of solutions, but you never took it and applied to yourself. You're never gonna fix it. I can't fix it for you. It's not my problem. Only you can fix the problem. So only you can learn it. Only you can make it your own. So to me, this is very profound in a way that regardless of how many books you read, regardless of how many TVs you watch, regardless of how many degrees you have, if you did not make it your own, it was never yours, and you cannot keep it.
I agree.
That to me is like, hey, yeah, I can learn something on my own, and I can learn things I want to learn. I can probably be more an expert on that subject than you. If you don't swallow that, it didn't go into your body.
Right.
It just gushes out. So regardless if I'm drinking from the dripping of the faucet or drinking from a fire hydrant from a fire hose, right? If I don't take it in, then it was never mine.
It's
So
like
you think about
uh,
the amount of water from a person here. I am purposely wants to drink from the strip of the faucet.
it's exactly like what we talked about almost yesterday. You find a problem, then you go study the answer. Then you go into the academic world to research and to study, and then come back and apply it and find and all these things, right? Like that's how you make it your own. You could spend your entire lifetime in academia and not know anything. I mean, it reminds me of
You spent 16 years in
I don't remember a
education.
thing.
You don't remember a thing because
A
you didn't have
thing.
a.
I had nothing to channel my to connect the dots to attach to make it a part of my memory palace, right? Like I had nothing that was it's something that I cared about in any of those topics other than maybe tennis or sports or athletics or something like that, you know, where I had to do a lot of doing and problem solving out there, which is probably one of the reasons why I love sports.
The thing is, I'm saying without the problem, a problem for you is a thing you want to solve.
Good.
And for you to solve it, it's like, hey, because I like tennis, so there's a problem that I say, well, I want to, hit a forehand better or whatever. That's still a problem for you, and
Yeah, that's
because
what I meant.
of that, whatever solution that comes your way, it's going to fit into that glove of problem. You and I can read this book of the Bed of Procrustes, or I can read the Proverbs in the Bible. I can read whatever. I can read like
Yeah,
thousands and thousands of bumper
yeah.
stickers. None of them will stick unless I have a problem, and some of these sayings can apply to it, and only then that will be my own. Then I would learn it, and then once I learn it, I can remember. That's what I'm
Exactly.
saying is you have to understand. Like for you and I were talking about, the rating of professors, right? We don't know how to rate professors, right?
Right.
But that's the thing is you have to understand the need. Without the need, whatever solution comes, it's going to pass you by like, as if water is flowing down the river. It's not going to stick to you. If you did not intend to drink from fire hose, you're not going to have anything inside you.
Right.
It's just one of those things where you have to have some kind of hook, right? The hook is your problem. Well, the hook, anything you throw at it, it's going to, go past it. If a hook is there, it's going to grab. So that whatever you grab is going to stay, and that's becomes yours. And you notice one of the things that I noticed from these most of these proverb books and this book in particular is it the saying usually flipped the society's conformity upside down.
Yeah. Of course. I mean,
It's just
it's
like
always look outside the box a little bit, you know.
society is completely getting like completely opposite of what it should be done. And
Stability.
and the thing is, when you look at the book, the concept of the Bed of Procrustes, it
See,
looks.
I just said it right there. Like remembered stability, right? Yeah.
But I think Procrustes is very prevalent in today's society because everybody's like this individual, all these individuals, you jam them into this
Life hack.
building of whatever, and
Life
the
hack. That's the
circles,
word.
right?
That's the word.
And then whatever you do is say, hey, okay, what we need to do, guys, is we need to take the commonalities of everybody that is involved, and we say, well, what are the commonality? That's like the bed. The bed is like the average of
Right.
all the people, and then this is become the cookie cutter that we're gonna try to fit everybody in. So a tall guys come in, we chop off his head and chop off his legs to fit. A short guy comes in, we can stretch him. So you think about it, any individual differences when it goes into this collective hive of this corporate, right? It has been trimmed because it doesn't have the denominations. And
It's
so
a
you in modern age society, this is what we do. You and everybody else went into the Salesforce ecosystem, right? Everybody has the extremities of talent, this character, whatever. The extremities are trimmed because it doesn't overlap any of the extremities of the other people. You take the commonalities of all the values of all these group of people, and you say, well, these are the value that this Salesforce organization will hold, and anything that is excellent, we're going to trim it. And so you create this cookie cutter bed that is neither long, neither short. It's average. It's the distribution curve. It's like average. You take that bed and become this cookie cutter of values, and anyone comes in, you either gonna stretch them or you're gonna trim them off. This is the modern day Bed of Procrustes.
I mean, that happens in everything. It's called, I was joking because that's the term for that in pop culture is a life hack. If I ever fucking hear somebody say the words life hack again to me, I'm gonna like, no, Yomo is a life hack, man. Like, no, it's not. This has nothing to do with being some how-to guide of how to find happiness or purpose or something like that. This is just two people exploring concepts and figuring out how they want to apply that to their lives going forward. This is important to us, but we're not going to go bottle all this up and say, hey, everybody, this is exactly what you should do. You know what I mean? The self-help industry gurus do. That's what all these, life hacks that are like,
I'm not telling you to do
talking about.
anything. Hey,
I'm saying
this is a
make your bed the way you want it.
This is a possible solution that works for me. You got to go and figure it out if it works for you. Okay. And I told you that before. What works for me, likely it won't work for you.
It
But
definitely won't. A
you
4-hour
can
work week
learn
works for
from
Tim
you
Ferriss.
can
Doesn't
learn
work for
you
me.
can learn from what I did, and distill it. You synthesize. Okay, True has this problem. He used a solution. Okay, I have a similar but different problem. Can I morph some of these things to fit me? That is what we are advocating to you, because my solutions, it's my solutions. It's not yours.
Exactly.
You think about it. How can it fit you? How can it fix your problem? It
You can't.
cannot. So what we're advocating is I'm merely pointing to the problem I have and the solution I use. Your job is how can I take that and synthesize it so that it fits my problem? Because your problem is going to most likely be unique, and only you can find a solution for your problem. I cannot give you the solution.
We can take it.
Because
I agree. I mean, take it a step
listen
further.
to what I'm saying.
No.
If I give you my solutions, it is my solution. It's not yours. Think about it.
Your solutions are your solutions now. Like, even if you went back and told your 20-year-old self these are the solutions, even yourself won't listen to yourself because it's not their solutions. Like,
It's not.
and your solutions when you're 55 is not your solutions where you're going to be right now either. It's all time and space dependent. Like you always say, if you step into a creek at one point in time, that's the first time and the only time that you'll ever step into that creek at that time. YOML is a snapshot of time of my life with Amelia, with you, with all this stuff, and we'll continue to do this, but it won't look exactly like this anymore going forward. But like we'll build on our own lessons. But like even I could not go back to myself and say, hey, Chris, in 13 years, here, I'll give you this book. I even wrote it down for you. Here, go read every one of these lessons and you'll figure out what I'm talking about. You know, it actually reminds me of that book, Rules for a Knight, that we did, you know, where that guy wrote for his children, you know, the rules how to be a knight. And my thought process of that is like, no, Luca, Amelia, you know, your children, like you guys need to go figure out how to be your own knights, right?
And that's what we're advocating to carve your own path. This to us is the essence of what Yomo is about. It's the essence of what clubbing is about. It isn't about giving you a solutions. It's giving you possibilities.
Yeah.
Questions, giving you questions to ask yourself. How would I fix this? To kind of give you more of like an avenue to explore. Right? It's all about the discovery, because the discovery has to be your own. No one can walk in your shoes.
Yeah, your problems are your problems, not my problems. I don't care about your problems.
Even if I want to, I can't. Like,
right.
Even if my kids have problems, I cannot help them. I cannot give them a solution. I can only guide them in terms of what I see and give them enough data points to say, well, you're going to have to use the data point I give you, and then use that to synthesize your own solutions to the problem that you have.
Right.
You're going to have to find your own way, because your way is your way. If I give you my way, it's still my way.
You won't remember.
I mean, that's the point. This is what I'm saying is, if you don't make it your own, it was never yours.
That's what I'm saying. It's like if you don't make it, the whole point of all this is to remember, right? Like the whole point of YOML isn't just to learn from a new book and read a new book.
The thing is that if you don't make it your own, you did not learn it. So you can't say I've learned something without having interest in it, without making my own. So that's not possible.
I agree.
If you don't learn it, you don't remember.
Right.
You don't learn it. So you cannot say I've learned something, I've learned it, when in fact you didn't make it your own. So that's like anti-learning. Like
that's just knowledge consumption is what that is.
I mean, it's basically like I get splashed with water, but that's all it is. There's nothing that sticks, because it doesn't stay with you. It just, whatever comes to you, it's just transient. Just like I go and I look for a diamond, right? I'm going to dig a bunch of dirt. I've come across thousands of grains of dirt or sand or whatever until I find a diamond. But do I remember any of the dirt that I come across? So any knowledge you've come, it's just like these pieces of dirt that you kind of come through to find the thing that you're looking for. And only remember, hey, I found this diamond, right? Or this treasure or whatever that you're looking for. But do you remember all of the dirt, all of the pieces of rocks and sand that you have come through that passed by to your hands? Do you remember any of them? You don't. You don't focus on it. So it's just a transient passing by.
Right.
So in the end,
what's
right?
the point?
It's all about is there something that is interest to you? If you don't have an interest, there's not
a problem. Question. A beautiful question.
You can say learn something, right? It's not learning. You're not learning. Just like you don't remember anything in your 16 years in college, because how much information you think has passed through your brain? I mean, you and I have actually, quote unquote, memorized the stuff to pass the test.
Right.
But we don't remember. So can we memorize something?
I mean, I get, maybe you could argue like some of the basic blocking and tackling stuff, like like geography and like, you know, maybe grammar in like grade school or
No,
something
you
like
had to
that?
learn
Like,
it. You had to learn it because you made it your own. That's why you learned it. There was
right.
an interest. Okay, maybe there's some question. It's not a significant question, but it's
That's a
still a
good point,
question
actually.
for
Yeah.
you to remember even the syntax and grammar. Because, for example, for me, right, the only reason why I learned some of this grammar is because I go to school. I came here when I was like 10 years old, so I was in like fifth grade. I can't speak well, so people are laughing at me. So the reason why I learned this thing is because somebody's laughing at me, and that becomes my prop. It becomes my point of focus. And
Right.
then I say, well, I'm gonna learn the grammar. I said, why are they laughing at me when I put these words together and say, well, you're funny, right?
Right.
And that's the interest. Because if no one laughed at me, I would not have changed. No need to learn any grammar. You learn grammar for whatever reason, but there has to be a question having to have a point of fixation for you to actually get that into your head.
Yeah.
Tackling, running, tennis, whatever. There has to be a hook. There has to be a point of focus for it to stick.
Agreed. I mean, yeah, that's why, like, I don't think you could sum it up any better than that. I mean, there's just like, there's nothing that I ever learned in school that I could honestly say that
You
I
can
wanted to
force it
learn.
all you
I
want.
mean,
Force it because the thing is, we have always crammed for the test, and we have always temporary short-term memory able to recall it. But
right.
then a month after, a year after, it completely washed away.
I mean,
So you did not learn anything. So I can
hmm,
remember this phrase, right? You know, what I learned on
right.
my own, I should remember. I can remember that. And I can say, well, if you test me, you ask me again in the next 5 minutes, I can say it. In an hour, I'll probably forget it. Because
Yeah,
it
for
is
sure.
my own. There's
But
nothing
you won't forget eat the frog. You won't forget a beaver must. You won't forget, you
right
know,
because
focus on your values. You won't forget, you know, I
that
mean,
applies to your fixation, right? You
you
have
won't
a point of fixations.
you won't
That's why
forget
it's
all of your truisms, you know, like, I mean, you know, that we've been documenting over here of like how to train your elephant or system one, system two, or the
you
elephant.
and I are so like vivid in our head about system one, system two.
Right.
We cannot even get it
Conscious
to,
living,
to
you know,
like
I
get
can't hear
it
your
to be
song.
mixed.
Like,
We
yeah.
can't even mix it up from system one
Right.
to system two. We know exactly what we mean when we say system one. We know exactly what we mean with system two because we have a fixation on that. So for most people, system one, system two, it's interchangeable. You say, oh, I don't know.
Like,
I
whatever.
don't
Left brain,
remember.
right
It's
brain.
system.
Yeah, right brain, right. You know, like, right.
If you didn't learn it.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I mean, yeah, you just know at a certain point in time, like, I don't have to think about how I want to swing my forehand, you know, or something like that. Like, I just know. Like, I mean, I've done it a million times. I don't think about it. Like, I don't think 1 second about like what I'm trying to do.
I think learning is whenever you have passed that knowledge down to the elephant.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's
Right.
exactly what it is.
Because
And
if you didn't,
that's
you
when you
just
remember.
temporarily holding it and say, "Hey, I'm going trying to mesh into this elephant and
That's
see look," and it's still
that's a
he's
that's a
not
good
trained
one.
yet.
That's a really good point. I think like academic learning is just your writer by himself, you know, hanging out off the elephant. Like real learning is your writer and your elephant coming together.
But the thing is, it doesn't matter whether it's academic or something else. If
That's
you
fair.
have
Yeah.
an interest, you
Right.
will learn it, right?
Yeah, I agree.
There are certain classes in college that you've learned, right? Whether that's tennis class or something that interests you, you would learn it in college. But it's still
Right.
academia, right? But you have an interest. Anything else that wasn't an interest to you, like, hey, you know, calculus,
Wine
statistics.
appreciation. I remember stuff from wine appreciation in college. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
because I appreciate wine. I like wine, you know.
Right? Because
And
you're talking about like
I've used that on many
statistics,
travels around, you know,
chemistry,
different, you
or
know,
whatever that you have to take to kind of be like, hey, I've got all these required
right.
curriculum.
You want to quiz me on probability, statistical probabilities classes that I took? Like, I mean, I literally, like, I mean, my brain, I will like melt in front of you, and I'll just be like, I have no idea. Like, there was like
Yeah.
three green balls, and like you threw one of them up, and I don't know. I mean, there's like a million scenarios. Those tests, I swear to you, I went in and I was like, I would look at the problem and I would just go, honestly, I could have just scribbled anything on there, and it would have been probably better than what I cared about. I was like, just get me out of this class so I can pass this test, so I can get my fucking degree, so I can leave. You know, like,
But that's the thing in today's society, everybody is being forced to learn things they don't want to learn. And in today's society is we are told that we have to be well-rounded and we have to be like, okay, I'm good in math, I'm good in writings, I'm good in blah blah blah, and we have to be this all-encompassed person. And in
yeah,
corporate, we
yeah, I
all
agree
do
with
the same thing. It's like we don't learn anything. We don't learn shit.
you.
So
Right.
it's like the only thing you're doing is you're just taking away the time that I would be available to learn the things I want to learn.
Yep.
So I'm neither good at what I'm good at, no, I'm good at everything else. But if you
Exactly.
leave me alone and let me pursue my interests, I will be a much better contributor to society. I will be contributing to society in a much greater extent than I would have been.
Well,
Right.
then
And so
people,
right now, today's individual, we are basically draining on society instead of contributing to society. We create this useless, like, I guess.
think about me as an AE at Salesforce, during this journey, right? Think about all the things that we've been learning and exploring and doing together through this whole entire journey. And think about what I did every single day, and the level of the abilities of my skills, knowledge, and things that I like to do that I did every single day. It was maybe 5%, maybe, like talk about stupid on all parts, on my part, on the business's part, like what a waste of what
Exactly.
I could possibly be doing. For if Salesforce just said, Chris, I will just pay you what you make right now to go do whatever you're doing and figure out how we can go apply this into the Salesforce ecosystem, and whatever capacity that you want to contribute to that, go do that. Like, and they would, I guarantee you, I would have brought more value to that business in the long run, way more, immensely, exponentially more
Of
value to that
course.
business. But that's not how it works. They have to pay you based off of a very specific job that they're asking you to do in a very Procrustean bed, of like, Chris, I need you to be a sales professional and doing this particular job and hitting this particular quota to go do XYZ. Otherwise, you're useless to this organization as a whole. That's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my mind. And when you say it the way that we're talking about it, like, but at the same time, like, it's hard to convince people to compensate somebody to not provide immediate tangible value, even if that tangible value they think that they're providing to the business is only like 5% of what they're capable of doing. But that's the way that we see it. It's like, if we don't have an immediate reason why we want somebody involved in a project, then their value, they don't have any value, and like, that's not true. It's the exact opposite of that, right? It's just short-sightedness, honestly. Like, I mean, it's really just short-sightedness. That's what we're trying to do with Club, is to take out the short-sightedness of this and say, let's just give people a playground to go explore questions and go do what they want to go do and learn, and then go apply that learning to whatever the fuck they want to apply that to, and let's see what happens.
The thing is, I think once you're on that trajectory, it's you cannot help but
Be productive. Like, I
because
mean,
like I said, you can say, well, I love to eat, and that's all I want to do, right?
great. Go to
You become the
restaurants.
best foodie. You become the people. I can make this food supply chain and all these things very efficient because I know exactly the kind of food that people like, blah blah. Because you cannot help but be productive, and you'll
Right.
be so productive because this is what you yearn to do when you wake up. You probably wouldn't sleep just to stay and do the thing. People say, well, like, there's certain things that, hey, you think that people don't want to do, but they like to do, because like you think about people who go fishing, right? I've seen a lot of people who love fishing and they would do that day in, day out, and for their whole entire life. That's what they do. You talking about people who like, how the fuck do you code? You know what I mean? It's like it's all this variable and simples, right? Well, you look at me, like, I'm just not the likes to code. You think that, hey, there's certain thing that just no one wants to do. That's not true. Somebody is gonna like something. But the beaver is gonna like that and feel damn. He's compelled to do it. So
Right.
I'm saying is, whenever you are down that path, you cannot help but being so productive because you have so much knowledge in that area that it
It's
brings
cake.
out the value, right? So you just cannot get. It's like you have the bottomless pit of appetite for whatever that you do, whether it has playing tennis, whether it's to build something, whether it's to go fishing or to go study animals, study rocks. And there's people who love to study rocks. There's people who love to. I mean, they're not forced to do it. They spend days in it. I mean,
Yeah.
people have left, like, comfort of their homes or whatever, go into
There's a lot of people who do that.
the most like dangerous place in the most inhospitable places to go and dig up bones and stuff. I mean, that's what they live for. If you match the profession with the trait of who they are, they cannot help but brings contribution to society in a much, much greater scale than you will force somebody to say, hey, you shall do the KBR to rate people to make sure that they're in line, blah blah blah.
What a waste.
It's a waste of resources, but it's also a waste of life because you waste your life because you're not trading something of value to you.
Do you watch Ted Lasso, by the way, by any chance?
No.
Oh, gosh, that's like one of the only shows that I actually watch these days. It's such a good show. I think you would love it, actually. You should watch it, though. It's really good because it was an episode last week about positionless soccer where, I was thinking like positionless organizations, right? I mean, anyway, it doesn't matter. That was where I was going with it. But
right.
Right.
There's no rule, but there is an unspoken rule, just like the rules of the civil rule. There's an unspoken, yeah. I mean, the thing
it's an orchestration.
We without spoken rule, we have to. The thing is, you and I understand what EQ is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. EQ is not something you have it naturally.
Well,
no,
because you can learn it, and
EQ is what we have. Because as a baby, I can grow up and I can learn about, hey, if mommy is like angry, right?
Not in a brave new world, sir.
For me, like for you and me today, like, are you smiling? Okay, that means that he's nice to me. Right. If you're not smiling or you give me some kind of weird look, I understand what you're saying. Right. So it's not like, is there a written rule for that?
No, of course not.
So we have that capacity to orchestrate ourselves.
Right.
So when you're talking about positionless soccer, I play soccer, so I can understand what you're saying. In soccer or in football or whatever, even in basketball, there is positions like a center, right, or forward, or whatever, right? But I'm saying is, if you don't have rule, you can actually still play because you revert back to the instincts of human EQ.
The thing that they talked about was this thing called total football, where it's like the triangle offense in basketball, where there's always somebody that's a pivot point where everybody can go up or forward or move all around. It's this soccer philosophy called total football, right? It's just that no player should have a fixed position. The roles are fluid. The individuals
for the most part, like the football,
that's how basketball is now.
Soccer, like soccer in general, it started out as a positionless game.
Yeah, that's why it's called the beautiful game.
It's only until later on that you start to put rules and positions into, like, hey, a midfielder can't really go back to the goal line. It has to be the defender, or sweeper, right, or striker. And then you're talking about forward or wings. Like when I play soccer, I play wings, right? I'm always on the edge, right? Right. I'm like, when we have the ball, I have to be on the corner. When we lose the ball, I have to be on the other side of the corner.
Right.
So shoot. But I can't go to the middle because I'm not a midfielder.
Yeah.
The middle, that means that if somebody's in the middle, I have to go back to my positions. Right. And so that thing is creating that.
Oh my God. My eyes are killing me, man. Like, I just need to go get like a Q-tip and get this stuff out of the corner of my eyes. Like, so bad. Like, I just keep going like.
You want to take a 5-minute break?
No, I'm good. We'll just have to wrap soon because it's like okay. I'm like, I just want to itch my eyes so bad right now and I can't. It's like burning so bad. Fucking pink eye. I just like, I mean, I don't have it, thank God, yet, but because I don't have it because I have this right next to me, like a little hand sanitizer, and I'm constantly, because every single time that I touch anything in this house for the past 2 weeks, I'm like hand sanitizing all day long because I can't touch my face.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that, man. It's just hang in there.
We'll get it. But no, sorry to cut you off. But like, I mean, seriously, I'm really distracted right now. Like I want to pick whatever's going on like in both of my eyes now. Now it's getting worse. Like, I mean, I guess
we can close it because I think we probably late over time already.
Oh yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Yeah. So all right, sorry to have a crash and burn fiasco there, but no, I gotta go get the shit out of my eyes.
Yeah.
All right. That was a fun conversation as always, and thanks everybody for joining. The question we can leave you with is, when was the last time you learned something just because you wanted to? And if you haven't in a long time, then something to think about.
I mean, to learn something you don't want to learn, it's torture.
It's awful.
All right. Well, with that, we'll leave with you the questions, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.